The space station floated silently above the dark planet. It was called Outpost V-17, and not many people knew it existed. The crew there was small, just a few scientists, guards, and engineers. Most of them stayed quiet, busy with their own work. But something strange had started happening. Doors opened by themselves. Tools disappeared. Lights blinked in empty rooms. Some said it was just the old systems breaking down. Others whispered it was a ghost. But one man noticed more than the rest. His name was Evan, a technician who worked the night shift. He was quiet, always watching, always listening, and one night, he saw something, not on the cameras, not on the sensors. He saw it with his own eyes. It looked like the air had bent, like heat rising from metal, but it moved like a person. Evan blinked, stared, and followed it slowly. He whispered, "Who's there?" No answer came, but the shape stopped, turned slightly, and then vanished. He didn't tell anyone. Who would believe him? But from that night, he kept watching. Every time the lights flickered or the doors opened, he looked closely, and sometimes he saw the shimmer again. He started talking to it, not like a crazy man, but like someone who knew he wasn't alone. "I know you're here," he would say. "I don't want to hurt you." For days, nothing happened. Then, one night, something changed. Evan was in the storage bay, fixing a broken panel. The lights flickered. He turned around and saw it, the shimmer. Standing just 10 feet away, he didn't move, didn't panic. He just said softly, "I see you." The shimmer froze. Then slowly it began to fade. A figure appeared, a girl, maybe his age or a little younger. Her skin had a soft glow. Her eyes were silver. She wore a suit that looked half visible, like it was made from light. She looked at him, shocked, scared. "You're not supposed to see me," she said. Her voice was soft, musical, but filled with fear. "I didn't mean to scare anyone," Evan replied. I knew someone was here." She stepped back, her body flickering like a broken hologram. "I have to go," she whispered. "Wait," Evan said. "Please don't run. I won't tell anyone." She paused, watching him carefully. "Why not?" she asked. "Because you don't seem dangerous," he said. "And because you look like you're running from something worse." The girl was silent, then finally spoke. "My name is Vera," she said. "I'm not from here, not from your station, not even from your planet." "I guess that." Evan smiled a little. "I'm human," she said, "but not like you, my kind. We learn to hide, to survive, to be unseen." She looked down at her hands. "My people were hunted," she continued, "long ago by humans. We escaped, but we never trusted anyone again." Evan listened carefully. "Why are you here?" he asked. Vera hesitated. "I came to find something," she said. "Something we left behind a long time ago." "And now?" Evan asked. She looked at him, her silver eyes glowing faintly. "Now they found me," she whispered. "They're coming, and they'll stop at nothing." Evan felt a chill run down his spine. "Who?" he asked. "Your people," she said. "The ones who still hunt us." "Why are they still hunting you?" "Because we have something they want," she said. "A secret, a power, maybe even fear." Evan took a deep breath. "Then we have to hide you," he said. Vera shook her head. "No one's ever helped me before," she said. "Why would you?" "Because I see you," Evan replied. "Not just with my eyes, but with my heart." Vera looked at him for a long time, then nodded slowly. "All right," she said. "But if they find us, they won't show mercy." Evan smiled, though he was scared inside. "Then we better not let them find us," he said. Somewhere deep in the station, a red light blinked. A silent alarm had been triggered. The hunt had begun. The room was dark, but not silent. Machines hummed, air vents breathed softly, and somewhere, deep below the surface of the space station, Vera sat alone. Her glowing eyes stared at the floor. But her mind was far away. She wasn't thinking about Evan or the humans. She was remembering the stars she lost. She had once flown between galaxies. Her people were fast, clever, And invisible to almost every species, they didn't fight. They disappeared, they didn't speak, they listened. And they trusted no one, not even each other sometimes. But now here she was, inside a cold human station. Her cloak half broken, her energy low, her hope fading, and yet someone had seen her, a human, and worse, he didn't scream, didn't run, didn't report her. He spoke to her. Vera touched her chest, where a tiny disc blinked softly. It was her core tracker, her last link to her people. She opened a small compartment in the wall, one the humans never used. Inside were a few tools, a folded map, and a picture faded and torn of her homeworld, a world that no longer existed. Behind her, footsteps echoed, soft, careful, but not silent. She turned, and there he was again. "Evan, you shouldn't be here," she said, but her voice was gentle. "You shouldn't be alone," Evan replied. He held a bag, food, water, and a small flashlight. "I brought these in case you needed anything." Vera looked at the bag, then at Evan. "Why are you helping me?" she asked again. Evan shrugged. "Maybe I'm just tired of pretending not to see what's real." She walked closer, carefully. The cloak shimmered, glitching like a broken screen. "You can see through my tech," she said, more to herself than to him. "No one has ever done that." Evan sat on the cold metal floor. "I think it's not about the tech," he said. "I think you wanted to be seen." Those words stopped her. She had never thought about that. Had she grown tired of being invisible? Vera sat too, across from him. "My people," she began. "We were once known across galaxies, not for war, not for power, but for silence. We could move unseen, gather secrets, pass through walls. But the humans, your kind," she paused. "They feared what they couldn't control." Evan nodded slowly. "I believe that," he said. "But I don't agree with it." She looked at him carefully. "There was a treaty once," she continued. "A promise. Between your leaders and ours. But it was broken. They killed thousands of us. Took our tech, used it for war. I survived because I was born after the fall." Evan listened, every word sinking deep. "So, what are you doing here now?" he asked. Vera hesitated, then pulled out a small crystal chip. "This holds the last voice recordings of our elders," she said. "Wisdom, history, warnings. But it's locked, and I need a human system to open it." Evan raised his eyebrows. "And you thought this station could help?" She nodded. "I thought I could slip in and out," she said. "No one would know. But then you saw me." They sat in silence for a while. Far away, alarms had stopped, but tension still filled the air. "There's more," she whispered. "There are others coming. They followed me." "Who?" Evan asked. She didn't answer with words. Instead, she tapped the wall, opening a hidden screen. On it was a red blinking dot, fast moving, approaching the station from the dark side of the planet. "Hunters," she said. "Humans, but not like you. They work for a secret group, still chasing what's left of my kind. They'll kill me, and anyone who helps me." Evan stood up, looking at the screen. "Then we need to hide you better," he said. "I know some old tunnels below the station. They're not on any current maps." Vera looked up at him with soft eyes. "No one has ever helped me," she said quietly. Evan smiled. "Then I guess I'm the first." Suddenly, the lights above flickered. A mechanical voice echoed through the hallway. "Security breach detected. Unknown life form confirmed. Initiating lockdown." Vera stood up fast, her cloak flickering back into place. Evan grabbed the bag and opened the hidden door. "Follow me," he said, quickly. She hesitated just a moment, then followed. The door slid closed behind them, and the hallway went silent. But far above them, the hunter's ship had docked, and a voice spoke through the static. "Begin search protocol. Target must be captured alive, if possible." The lower levels of the station hadn't been touched in years. Dust floated in the air like tiny ghosts, pipes hissed quietly, and broken lights blinked like dying stars. Vera and Evan moved carefully through the darkness, one human, one alien. Both being hunted, both out of place. Vera's cloak flickered in and out. Her tech was failing, her energy almost gone, but something deeper inside her had started to wake up. A memory, long buried, was calling her back. They entered a forgotten maintenance room. Old tools lay scattered. Walls were marked with faded warnings. Evan sealed the door behind them, then turned to Vera. "This place hasn't been used in over 20 years, he said. "No one comes here anymore." Vera stood silently, her eyes scanning the room. Something about it felt familiar. She touched a panel near the wall, and suddenly, a hidden drawer opened. Inside was a small black device, shaped like a cube. She gasped. This belonged to my people." Evan stepped closer. "You've been here before," he said, more like a realization than a question. Vera looked at him, her voice shaking. "I didn't remember until now," she said. "But yes, I came here as a child." She picked up the cube and pressed a glowing spot on its side. A soft hum filled the room, and then a voice gentle and strange began to speak in her native language. Vera closed her eyes, breathing deeply. "What is it?" Evan asked. "It's my father's voice," she said. "He was one of the last elders. He left messages for me in case I ever returned." Evan looked around the room. "Why this place?" Vera answered slowly. "This station used to be a meeting point between humans and my people. Before the war, before the betrayal. Back then, they called this level the quiet room, where peace was spoken." Evan sat on the floor, shocked. "So the alliance was real," he whispered. "But someone wanted it broken," Vera nodded. "Someone powerful. They erased all records, wiped memories, even used my people's own tech to make humans forget." Evan's eyes narrowed. "Wait, memories can be erased like that?" Vera looked at him, her expression suddenly serious. "Yes," she said, "and sometimes they come back when you're not supposed to remember." Evan felt a chill. Could that explain the dreams he'd been having for months? Strange flashes of stars, voices in languages he didn't know. A silver-eyed girl standing in fire, reaching for him. He didn't tell Vera, not yet. But something inside him had changed. She connected the cube to her crystal chip, a soft blue. Light filled the room, and new files opened: maps, codes, hidden messages. But before they could study them, an alarm buzzed softly through the walls. Not loud. Not from the main system. This was something closer, something inside this level. "What's that?" Evan asked, standing up quickly. Vera checked a nearby panel, her hands moving fast. A motion sensor was triggered. 2 corridors away, she said. "Someone's down here with us." Evan grabbed a tool from the floor, his only weapon. "Can we hide?" Vera shook her head. "We need to keep moving." They stepped into the next hallway, darker than the last. As they walked, the cube in Vera's hand began to pulse. Each pulse matched her heartbeat, and with every beat, more memories came rushing back. She remembered being here, hiding with her father. He told her to stay quiet, to trust no one. He said, "They will try to make you forget who you are. But the stars remember. Now." The stars inside her mind were waking up again. Suddenly, Evan stopped. He pointed at the wall. There was a crack in it, and behind it, something glowing. They pushed it open and found a hidden chamber. Inside were more memory cubes, each one holding voices, stories, truths. This is a vault," Vera said in awe. "My people used to store knowledge in places like this. Most were destroyed." Evan helped her gather as many cubes as they could carry. But as they turned to leave, a cold metal click echoed behind them. A voice, sharp and cold, filled the room. "Don't move," it said. A soldier stood in the doorway, armored, armed, and very human. But his eyes weren't normal. They glowed red, unnatural, unblinking. Vera whispered, "That's not just a man." Evan agreed. "That's a hunter." Asterisk. The silence in the hidden vault shattered like glass. Evan stared at the hunter blocking the exit. His armor was black, smooth like liquid metal. and the red light in his eyes burned like fire. He didn't breathe like a man, didn't move like one either, and when he smiled, it wasn't a smile, it was a warning. Vera took one step back, her hand gripping the memory cubes tightly. "Who are you?" Evan asked, voice steady. The hunter tilted his head. "I'm the reminder," he said coldly, "that some secrets were meant to stay buried." He raised his weapon, but in that split second, the vault lights flickered. Vera threw down a small pulse orb. A burst of blinding blue light filled the room. They ran fast, through the crack in the wall. The hunter's angry voice followed them like thunder. "Run all you want," it echoed. "You can't outrun history." Back in the hallway, alarms began to scream. The station had woken up. Doors slammed shut, lights turned red, and warning messages filled the air. "Unauthorized presence detected. Hunter protocol activated." Evan grabbed Vera's arm, pulling her through a side tunnel. "What did he mean? You're the real surprise," he asked between breaths. Vera didn't answer, not because she didn't want to, but because she was afraid of the answer herself. They found another old room, a broken lab filled with shattered glass and burned equipment. They locked the door behind them. For a moment, there was quiet, only their heavy breathing and the soft buzz of broken lights. Vera leaned against the wall, her cloak glitching wildly. Her body was weakening. Her systems weren't built for long exposure to human tech environments. Evan knelt beside her. "You're burning up," he said, placing a hand on her arm. "You need rest." She shook her head. "There's no time," she whispered. "If they've activated Hunter Protocol, they're not here just for me. They're here for you too." Evan looked shocked. "Why me?" Vera hesitated. "Your name," she said slowly. "Evan. It's in our memory records." He stared at her, confused. "That's not possible," he said. "I've never left Earth before this station." Vera reached into her pack, pulling out one of the glowing memory cubes. She tapped it, and a holographic image appeared, fuzzy and old, but clear enough. It showed a young boy standing with a group of alien scientists. One of them looked just like her. "That boy," Vera whispered. "He has your face." Evan stumbled back. "No, that's not me. It can't be." The door suddenly exploded open. The hunter stepped in, followed by two others. The air turned cold, like death had walked in. The lead hunter raised his weapon. "Enough running," he growled. "The alien girl comes with us." Evan stood in front of Vera. "Over my dead body," he said. The hunter smiled again. "As you wish," but before he could fire, the floor beneath them gave way. A hidden platform triggered by Vera's energy signature. They fell, crashing into a deep lower chamber. The hunters roared above, but the entrance sealed instantly. Evan groaned, pulling himself up. Vera blinked slowly. "We're in the deep core," she said, looking around. The lowest level of the station. The room was different, alien architecture, glowing walls, a soft hum that felt alive. Evan helped her stand. This isn't human tech," he said, amazed. Vera nodded. "This was ours," she whispered. "Before it was stolen." They had landed in the heart of the truth, and now there was no turning back. The deep core didn't feel like a part of the space station anymore. It felt older, alive, like it had been waiting, watching for someone to return. Strange glowing symbols covered the walls, pulsing softly, not in red or blue, but in silver light. It was the color of Vera's eyes. Evan moved slowly, touching the markings. They weren't just decoration. They were messages written in a forgotten language, a language that somehow felt familiar. "How is this possible?" he whispered. "This is human tech." Vera shook her head. "No," she said. "This was alien tech, our tech. Your people didn't create this." Evan looked around, his mind spinning. "But the station was built by Earth Command." Vera turned to him, her voice soft and heavy. "That's what they told you," she said. "But the truth is older." She activated the last cube she had. It floated between them, and a new hologram appeared. A star map, showing a system that no longer existed. Then, images of peaceful meetings, Humans and aliens shaking hands, smiling. It looked like a dream. Evan stepped closer, watching the images shift. Then the piece ended. He saw soldiers, fire, bodies. He saw his own face again, young, confused, surrounded by both alien and human figures. And then, gone, erased from the frame. He backed away, eyes wide. "What is this?" he asked. Vera didn't answer at first. She just stared at him with a strange expression like awe and sadness and fear all together. "You were one of us," she said quietly. Evan blinked. "What?" "You were part of the original bridge program," Vera continued. "A child chosen to live between both worlds, alien and human. But when the treaty broke, they erased everything. They wiped your memory, gave you a new identity." Evan sat down slowly, his head spinning. "I don't remember any of it," he said. "You weren't supposed to," she replied. "But the deep core is waking your memories." Suddenly the room shifted, lights flickered, and the air grew colder. A deep voice echoed from the walls. "Not human, not machine. Access confirmed, bridge subject Evan 9. Evan stood up fast. "What did it just say?" Vera looked shocked. "Your real name." "Evan 9, she said. "You were the 9th child in the program." A panel opened from the floor, revealing a hidden archive. Inside were hundreds of memory cores, some broken, some still glowing. Vera picked up one and placed it in the core. "Reader." The room filled with sound, laughter, voices, the soft hum of peace. Then the voice of a man. "To my son, Evan. If you are hearing this, it means the world we dreamed of is gone. But maybe, just maybe, you can help rebuild it." Evan froze. "That voice," he whispered. "That's my father." Vera stared at him. "You were never just a technician," she said. "You were meant to be a messenger, a bridge between our worlds, above them." The station shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lights sparked. The hunters were still trying to break in. But now Evan knew too much to run. He looked at Vera with new eyes. "I'm not running anymore," he said. "This place, these memories, they belong to both of us." She nodded slowly. "Yes," she said. "But if we want to protect this truth, we have to act now." Evan stepped forward, placing his hand on the control panel. The deep core scanned him again. "Bridge DNA confirmed," it said. Unlocking final memory chamber, a massive wall slid open, revealing a circular chamber filled with ancient knowledge, not just about the past, but about technology, peace, even lost cures and energy sources. The truth was bigger than either of them had imagined. But before they could explore further, a voice cut through the air, cold and sharp. "Step away from the core." The hunters had found them. And this time, they were not alone. Behind them stood a man in a high-ranking Earth uniform. His eyes were human, but his expression was colder than the hunter machines. He looked at Evan and smiled. Asterisk. The chamber fell silent. But the silence wasn't peaceful. It was sharp, like a blade about to fall. Evan stood in front of the glowing memory core, frozen. Across from him stood the Earth Command officer, flanked by 2 mechanical hunters. Behind Evan, Vera gripped the last crystal cube like it was her heartbeat. "I remember everything now," Evan said. The officer nodded slowly, his face calm, but eyes cold. "That was the plan," he replied. "You were meant to remember only when we needed you." Vera stepped forward, her voice shaking with fury. "You used him," she said. "Just like you used all of us." The officer tilted his head. "We didn't use him," he said. "We built him. His memory, his job, his placement on this station, everything was designed. He's the perfect bridge between species, and now he's going to finish the job his father couldn't." Evan's fists clenched. "My father wanted peace," he said. "And you turned it into a war." The officer smiled slowly. "No," he said. "Your father was weak, but if you unlock the final system, Earth Command gets access to everything your little alien friends tried to hide." The memory core behind Evan pulsed with light. It could feel the tension, the history, the choice. Vera looked at Evan, her eyes full of warning. if they get the knowledge inside this core, she whispered. They'll destroy everything that's left of us. The officer took a step forward. Do it, he ordered. Place your hand on the final key. If you don't, we destroy the girl and wipe your mind again. Evan slowly turned, looking. At the glowing pedestal, his hand hovered above it. Then he looked back at Vera, and something inside him changed. He took her hand, ran. Now, he shouted. And they bolted through the far tunnel. The hunters fired, but the shots hit the walls. Sparks flying like angry stars. The officer screamed. Do not let them escape. The chase began down narrow corridors, through old tunnels filled with smoke and wires. The station was falling apart, reacting to the unlocked memories and corrupted commands. Vera pulled a small device from her cloak. It's a phase beacon, she said, breathing hard. If we can reach the old launch bay, I can activate the teleport gate. Evan nodded. Then we go there. They reached the elevator shaft, but power was down. No time to think. Evan wrapped a cable around his arm and jumped, sliding down with fire in his chest and sparks in his eyes. They crashed into the bottom level. The launch bay was ahead, huge doors sealed shut. Vera tapped her cube against the control panel. It hissed, blinked, then opened slowly. Inside, the gate stood like a sleeping god. Tall, ancient, covered in symbols of both human and alien design. It hummed faintly, waiting. Evan stared at it. You knew this was here, he said. Vera nodded. My people built it long ago as a way to escape in case the Alliance failed. She set the beacon down, started charging the gate. It needs 2 minutes, she said. Evan looked at the entrance. We don't have 2 minutes, because behind them, the hunters were coming, fast, silent, deadly. And the officer's voice echoed through the station. Stop them, dead or alive. Vera stepped in front of the gate, her body weak, her cloak flickering badly. She looked at Evan. I can hold them off, just until the gate activates. No. Evan said firmly. You go, I stay. She grabbed his hand, her voice breaking. You'll die here, he smiled, tired but sure. Someone has to make sure the truth escapes. The gate began to glow brighter, energy swirling like a storm. The hunters broke into the bay, shots fired. Evan stood in front of Vera, shielding her. One shot hit him in the side. He dropped to one knee but didn't fall. Vera screamed, pulling him to the gate. But he pushed her in, hard. She vanished in a flash of light, gone. The officer stepped in, raising his weapon. You just gave everything up for a ghost. He sighed. Evan, bleeding, smiled through pain. No, he whispered. I gave everything. For the truth. Then he hit the overload switch, and the launch bay exploded in white light. The sky above the alien forest was purple, full of 2 suns and glowing clouds. Strange flowers opened and closed like breathing lungs. The wind sang songs no human had ever heard. And in the middle of this forgotten world, Vera fell to her knees. She had made it, but she was alone. The gate behind her sparked and vanished, its energy spent, its path to Evan lost forever. She didn't cry right away. She just sat there, holding the memory cube against her chest. The cube was warm, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat, like it knew someone had been left behind. A few hours passed, or maybe days. Time felt different on this world. Vera walked through the forest, her body weak, her spirit tired. But the cube guided her. It led her to a hidden place, an old shelter from her people. Still untouched, inside, the walls glowed with memory ink. She placed the cube in the heart of the chamber. A soft light filled the room, and Evan's voice returned. If you're hearing this, he said, then I did what I had to. I'm sorry I couldn't come with you. But I saw what mattered, Vera. I saw you. His voice played through the room like wind through trees. She closed her eyes and let it hold her. I know now, Evan continued. I wasn't just placed in that station to do repairs. I was meant to understand, to remember, and to carry something forward, even if I didn't survive. Vera opened a new panel on the wall. Inside were empty cubes, waiting to be filled. She looked around the shelter, then back at Evan's cube, and slowly she began to record. "My name is Vera," she said, her voice soft but strong. "I am the last daughter of the Shadowburn, and I am alive because of a human." She spoke for hours. She told their story, not just hers, not just Evan's, but the truth of two races that once dreamed together. She spoke of betrayal and of memory, of pain and of peace, and of a human who saw her when no one else could, far away on Earth. Things began to change. Data from the station leaked into the old network, just fragments, just echoes. But it was enough to start questions, enough to make people ask, what really happened to the bridge program? Some called it a myth, others called it classified. But in the darkest corners of space, whispers returned of an alien girl who vanished, and a human who gave up everything to save her truth. Years passed. Vera became a leader, a storyteller, a guide. She rebuilt what was lost, one memory at a time. And every child born on her world grew up hearing the same tale. About the boy named Evan, the human who remembered what others forgot, the one who didn't run, didn't betray, didn't fear. At the center of their capital, she placed a statue, not of herself, but of Evan. It stood tall, holding a glowing cube in one hand. Beneath it, words were written in both alien and human script. He saw what others chose to ignore. He remembered when the world forgot. He believed when no one else would. The human who saw everything. And somewhere in the stars, a satellite blinked back to life. Its signal weak, old, but clear. A voice echoed softly into the void. Evan's voice. "I see you.